I'm Ito of HATENA Corporation. Before giving my talk, I'd like to ask all of you a question. Those of you who know about the HATENA service, could you please raise your hand? Boy, quite a few of you know about us. Next. Have any of you ever written a program using a Google API? I see quite a few of you have. So with that understanding, I will go ahead with my talk. This is the agenda of what I'd like to talk about. Many of you are familiar, but I will give a rough overview about HATENA's services. And after that, I will explain how Google's APIs are used at HATENA to make applications. I'll also give the background for development of these applications. And finally, I'd like to talk about web APIs from a broader perspective. Let me explain our company's services first. This is the design of our site. We run a Q&A community. We also have antenna, RSS readers, blogs, as well as social bookmarking. We provide various tools for intellectual productivity increase. Social bookmarking and blogs are a good example of this. Rather than just having people make a site, making a site and providing it to users, we'd like to encourage the users to share their contents on our site and make our site more attractive. Our philosophy for service is that we want to make people's life more enjoyable and exciting through internet services. Like Toyota helps to make people's life more enjoyable through the automobile, but we think we should take the same approach to make people's internet life more pleasant. We want to work together with the users to create a new world. In the internet, one developer is able to make an application that is used by millions of people. So one developer and many users can work together to make many exciting new things, to create fun services that wouldn't even be possible in the brick-and-mortar world. The foundation for HATENA's services are three basic concepts. When making our services, the most important thing is creativity. No matter how much technology and know-how you have, in order to make it really valuable, you need the creativity of your engineers and creators. The second important thing is to trust the internet community. When you think of the internet, you notice not only truth is there, there's a lot of false information on the internet too. Not everything is beautiful and clean on the internet either. In the old days, people tended to be rather critical about the internet, but we of the younger generation want to take a more constructive view of the internet community. When various issues are discussed on the internet, I think it's like a 51 to 49 type win-loss record between the good and bad. In the end, generally the good wins, the truth wins out. Various events occur in Japan, but often the major media don't really report the whole truth. If you go on the internet, you'll find a lot of false information about such incidents, but ultimately the true information wins out. We want to trust the basic goodness of the internet community. That's our second point. Thirdly, even if you have a lot of creativity and even if you trust the community of the internet, you can't really deploy effective services without technology. So the third point we focus on is technology. So we at HATENA have been deploying various services making use of the Google API. Let me explain about them next. As I mentioned a moment ago, we are making use of Google Maps to make a special version of map called the HATENA map. Here's an example on the slide. Different photographs are placed on top of the map. These photos were uploaded by our users. Here's an actual screenshot. Here is a screen of the HATENA map. Let me zoom in a bit. Here you'll see various photographs are listed here. This is the Hachiyama town near Daikanyama where our office is. When you click on the photos around there, you can see here a photo of the main gate to our company office. And this is another photo from an area near our main gate. Here is a car parked close to our headquarters. So the photograph's location and the map location are linked together so that you can indicate the photographs on top of a map. This is the mechanism behind it. We have a service for uploading photographs on our website called HATENA Photo Life. When the photo is uploaded, if there is latitude and longitudinal information in the EXIF file, then we use that. We can also, you can obtain the latitude and longitude from the API so when you do it, so the photo information is searched from the database and indicated on the map. A JavaScript is used to access the photo data. Let me explain why we developed this HATENA map. Actually, this was released about a week after the Google Map API had been released. We were thinking of various services we could achieve with a map information. We had a lot of wishes to do map services on the web, but map data tends to be very sensitive and proprietary. Even if there's an open map, most of them are not programmable and freely usable. So being able to get location information easily and having a good interface for use of the map was a difficult issue. It was unrealistic for us to develop such a map service. However, when Google disclosed the Google Map API and made the Google Maps available to us, we were able to achieve our dreams that had previously been impossible. There was an interesting episode behind this service. We gave a presentation to a company saying we've developed this new HATENA Maps service. The person who heard this presentation said, "You must be lying. There's no way you could create a service like this in a week." Of course, we didn't develop the whole thing in a week. We only made the interface to show the maps on the map. I explained that the backend was the Google Maps that existed from before. From a conventional application developer, it's very shocking to know that you can use an API like this to develop new applications so quickly. This is another use of the Google Map API in what we call the HATENA One World service. I have a character for myself on the map. The character will move around. If someone says hello, he can chat on the map with other people on the map. The users of HATENA are able to chat with each other on the map like this. There are a lot of houses here, but these are the houses that are people that are offline. If they're offline, then they're indicated as being inside their house and not outside. If they're online, then the logo of that dog will appear. At our company, we have a special laboratory for people to try out various unique ideas, or ideas which may not necessarily have potential for business. The lab is where we experiment on a lot of different ideas. Someone in our lab said, if we can use maps so easily, why don't we try this? And he developed this One World service. Why do we use dogs for the icons? It's because the developer was a dog lover, and he wanted to make, you can use the Map API to develop very entertaining applications like this. So far, I've been talking about the Map API, but next I'd like to talk about the YouTube API for accessing video. At HATENA, we have the social bookmarking services. We provide bookmarks which are normally individual online so that multiple people can share bookmarks. And then we cannot indicate which contents have many bookmarks on them. Those are social bookmarks. We tried to combine the social bookmarking with video. YouTube has a lot of very interesting video contents, but there are so many, it's hard to know which are the most interesting.
who want to see only the interesting videos. And we wanted to find out where. And we have a social bookmark. And we store a lot of video bookmark. And if we combine them, only the bookmark video can be picked up and show them. And the development background is that YouTube has so many interesting videos, and we wanted to combine them with a social bookmark and API and existing API combined, and that is called mashup. And also, in social bookmark, we tried and it worked out nicely, and users are very delighted with this. So we wanted to do the same thing with blog. And that's how we came up with the HATENA Daily and the video mashup Google and YouTube used to show this. And what is this? The HATENA Daily has a keyword, and if you write diaries, then you can extract keywords from there. For instance, Miss Universe, a Japanese person became a Miss Universe Grand Prix, and if you enter her name, then it is registered and you can get her article. And so if you extract the keyword, and the topical keywords can be extracted. And using that mechanism, the keyword listed and API combined to extract the related video on this page. And if you have a look, this shows yesterday's Miss Universe news with the video, and with the video you can tell what keyword means, and it's such a fun content. And with bookmark, the bookmark and video combination was a success. Therefore, we did the same thing with the blog. That is how we came to develop this. And I have shown you 4 examples so far, and what is a common point about these 4 examples with Google API? Normally, what is too difficult to implement can be easily implemented. HATENA has only 20 or more developers, but companies as such can create the map infrastructure and also the video infrastructure. And if we deliver the photo services, we don't have enough resources. And also, when it comes to video infrastructure, if we want to open it to the internet, then we have to have a good infrastructure and scalability, and also do the blog and the social bookmarking will be too difficult to realize. But if we can combine the Google API, then we'll be able to make more interesting things. And now that the Google API opens it to the public, we could easily do it. And now that you write programs, I think you know that when you write the program, you might say, it will be easy, so I want to try once. And with API, the threshold will be lower for entry, so people will feel that I want to try that once. And the new services, a company will plan for the new services and create the plan and make the specification. Rather, the engineers will be curious and start creating something. That is how things are developed according to our experiences. So as a foundation for creating new things, the API is important because the entry level will be lowered for engineers. And I have shown you the example of Web API. And lastly, I'd like to talk about general things. And I mentioned earlier that Web API and engineers, to engineers, Web API will allow to lower the thresholds for engineers to come in and try the API and services, whether that's Google or HATENA services. Services will empower users, and on the other hand, API will empower engineers to allow engineers to start something new. And the services created by engineers will empower users, so the services will empower and make the internet rich. And from Web API and data point of view, if you upload to the blog or upload a photo to the internet, the data is opened through API. And if in the blog, if you continue writing the diary for 3 years and upload the photo, but the vendor doesn't, if the vendor stops the services, then you won't be able to continue making a blog. Or maybe you upload a photo and you want to switch to different services. So if you want to obtain them, if you don't have the method to obtain, then you're locked into the services. And if we think about the open infrastructure, it's not very preferable. So the data should be the core and should be open anytime. And Web API, once you get the data and to process the data, the Web API is used as an interface. So if you make the Web API open, the data itself will become open, and the data is owned by the user. So it is preferable to make the data open. The Web API, once you create your data and to allow the users to come in and see in their site, but nowadays the data can be opened through the Web API and make it programmable through API and make it open to the internet, and then it changes from the left picture to the right picture and can share the data, and also the data created by services can be propagated to the internet through API. And so the data is propagated and the internet becomes more enriched. And what is good about Google API? First of all, the Google API allows individuals to create a function that may be otherwise difficult for individuals to create. Even if APIs are open these days, if it's too easy for an individual to create in a week, then it won't be appreciated. But Google API through Google Maps and Google YouTube, there is a big backend infrastructure. So you can create something completely new. And also, it's an open specification, XML, Java, and JSON. So it's an open specification, so there is no proprietary software. So software agnostic to create the API software, and also it's programmable, it's easy to use, and also the Google infrastructure, as you know, is fast and stable. So you feel comfortable using the Google API. And the mashup application, one of the weaknesses of the mashup application is that there are two or three sites mashed up, and if one goes down, what happens? Normally you have to troubleshoot. It might be painful, but in case of Google API, it's fast and stable, so you don't have to be concerned about that. I'd like to wrap up my presentation, and I introduce to you some of the references or the examples of a Google API with HATENA. Web API empower users, programmers, and services. So the internet will be further enriched through Web API. Web API is a new form of open internet, and the service, data, or program will be fed to the open world. And using Google Web API, an individual will be able to make things simply and so enjoy their creativity. That was my speech. Thank you very much.